Okay, so for this 100th video, I have something very special planned because I have an amazing guest coming like in a few minutes. She's gonna be here, and I am so excited because not only is she one of my clients, she is one of the best persons I ever met, like a bright soul. And she has such a purpose to be here in this world, and I want to know more of that. So I want to ask all the questions and yeah, and see what she has to answer and just hear like her vision. And she studied like the medical way, but she's also a coach. So she knows how important coaching is, but she also knows how important like the medical the medical system is. And she is like really about like body and mind. And that's her purpose, but also to see what is possible as a coach in the medical scene. And I am just so excited because she has so many plans for her, and we're gonna work together soon. So, yeah, I am so excited what she's gonna say, but she can also dive in deeper, like on the medical part. And yeah, and I cannot wait to hear all about it because it's so, so, so important to hear from different people, like what is important and how to go about it. So I'm so excited that I have her as my guest. 100 episode or like video. Um, Without further ado, I present to you Ashley Openmeyer. Oh wow, you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You too, as always.
I did already like how do I say it? Like a shout out to what you do and who you are, and so you will
Oh.
hear that later. But I said like, okay, without further ado, here she is.
Ah! Oh, I'm so excited.
I want to talk about today for this, like I can believe that I'm doing this already, like this is the 100th video that I'm making. Like, holy, that's
Congratulations. And I'm so honored and so proud of you and inspired by you. Like that takes a lot of discipline to get to your 100th. And I'm just so happy for you, Lori.
thank
I'm so
you.
happy to be here.
Thank you.
I'm
It's
honored.
it's it's something, and every day it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to record, but yeah, still I'm doing it anyway, and yeah, showing up. Yeah. So
You're
it's
doing it.
fun. It's fun. But it's challenging. But what I want to talk about is
Yeah.
I want to talk about you. So, can you tell a bit about who you are and how you came, like how we met and yeah, that kind of stuff. Like and what I said in the intro, I call it the intro, is that
Yeah.
you really have a purpose for this world for coaching, but also like to help people. And you're such a bright soul, and you're really here for a reason. That's always what I hear you say, like, I'm here for a reason. So,
Oh.
so yeah, I want to hear about that reason. And I want also to dive deeper in what you're doing and how that is gonna affect yeah, the people, but also the things you said, like we had a call before, like is it a week ago already? No, I think in the beginning of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were talking about like with the doctors and that kind of stuff. So I think more
Mhm.
people need to hear that. So I'm giving you the stage, girl. I want
Oh
to
my
hear it.
gosh. Oh God. You're so sweet. I love you.
So tell me who you are
Yeah.
and
Okay.
where you live and
Okay.
how you came to coaching, because I never understood how coaching ended up on your path.
Yeah, it's been such a journey. Like really, it's so I'm Ash
Yeah.
and just a girl That, yes. But so yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been s- since I've gotten to this point, it's been such a culmination of like when I close my eyes and look back on my life, I can just see like how every moment, even when I was a child, how it led up to this because I always think like people plan God. I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like on Disney Channel,
Ah,
a
I can
dancer.
see
And
that. I can,
I was like, I don't have that. But
you do
I
though, but now you're too old. But no, you do. No, I don't think you're too old, but like I can see that. You see that
maybe I
sparkly.
should go audition.
Yeah, you.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm that's like originally what I wanted to do. And then I always had outside influence from family. You know, I feel like it's very common, like become a doctor or a lawyer
Hmm.
or something like that.
Hmm.
And I ended up actually how it I got kind of turned on to medicine was I got bit in the face by a dog. So I have like this dimple here and I have a scar here and here, like above my eye and under my eye from a dog bite. And
Oh.
I ended up, yeah, so I ended up in the hospital and I got stitched up. And I just remember that's kind of when things shifted in me going into this children's hospital. I was like, this is such a beautiful hospital. And they have like fish everywhere and it's like ocean themed. And I was in the waiting room to get stitched up. And I looked around at the kids that were in there, and they just had so much more going on. Like, I had a couple cuts on my face, relatively, and other kids were in there with like masses on their face, like tumors.
Mm.
And something shifted there where I was just like, I feel like, wow, that just put things in perspective for
Hmm.
me. And then I got obsessed with that and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to grow up now at the ripe age of like however old I was in like middle school. I was like, it's time to grow up and I'm like, I can't be a Disney Channel actress, so let me focus on medicine and I want to be a pediatric plastic surgeon and go on mission trips with Operation Smile and help kid, like don't like volunteer time there and work in a hospital
Mm.
in a children's hospital because I was like, that's much more fun than an adult hospital. And because really feel like I'm a kid at heart
Hmm.
still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what age
And
were you when you were there in the hospital? Like nine,
I was,
something like that?
I'm so bad at ages, but I think I was, when that happened to me, I think I was like in seventh or maybe eighth grade, like early eighth grade. So whatever age that is. And it was an awkward time too,
Yeah.
because I'm in like middle school when everyone, sorry, let me silence that. But it was an awkward time when
I don't
everyone is so
anything.
judgmental and I had like these band-aids on my face and I was just like, all right, now it's time to get super, super smart because like now the face is like messed up. So I can't be someone on screen. 'Cause
Mm. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's weird to think about.
So you
Yeah.
never, so I don't want to go into coaching now, but so you actually were like okay with it? Or were you because it's like your face and you wanted to be on
hmm
screen and now it's
hmm
like no, it's not possible anymore. Doesn't matter. This is more important. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's also the time. So when I was what in eighth grade, that was like the 2000s, like, and that's when being on screen meant you literally had to be like perfect. Like
Mm.
that's when all those body standards were a thing, and they didn't really include people who anything was like different. it wasn't as inclusive as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the scars were a lot worse then. Like they're now a decade's gone by and they're really like not noticeable and it looks like a dimple. But
You have a dimple. So cute.
yeah, no, I didn't. I think I manifested it
Yeah.
actually too, because at the time I remember being when like dimples were in, and I was like, oh my God.
We're
Yeah,
in like a
they
trend.
were like, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't know how it is for you, but in the States there are so many body trends.
Mm.
And I remember being a kid and dimples were in. And like Ariana Grande had dimples or something like that. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want dimples." So I would like take a pencil. These are highlighters. Take a pencil and you like smile and you do this
Oh my God.
to
Yeah.
like train the muscle to have a dimple. So I literally did that when I was like a kiddo. And then all of a sudden I got a dimple. Not in a very fun way, but I got
No.
one.
But that must be scary too, though, that the dog was so close and like, how did that happen?
Yeah, it was, so I've always been a dog person and an animal person. I've never been scared of them. And I've grown up with dogs my whole life. There was never a period where we didn't have dogs. And we had this German Shepherd
Oh,
that
it's your own
was
dog.
what, yeah, it was
Oh,
my own dog.
wow.
And
Hey.
the dogs we had before, like they were all very playful and like we would roughhouse a little bit. And our shepherd, he ended up getting cancer.
Hmm.
And so he would like have these crazy mood shifts. Like he'd be playful and then he'd be like, "Urgh."
Oh,
So, but I think that
yeah,
happens
yeah.
with dogs anyway, but it was even more noticeable with him because there was a change because he used to be like I used to be able to play with him like that. And then all of a sudden he had a big tumor on his neck. And I think that discomfort, it just it got to him. And so when we played and he was telling me to like, all right, I'm done playing. But for him, he has big teeth and like people, we have that's our skin's not meant for like, hey, like a check
Hmm.
from a dog. And he checked me and it happened to be my face. And yeah, and I guess in that moment I didn't really know what was going on. I was just like, it's fun, like, because I couldn't, when you are hit like that, it doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt. So I'm like, and then my mom looked at my face and she was like, oh my God. And she started like kind of freaking out naturally. I mean, to see your kid, because there was
Yeah.
like skin and some muscle showing, and I didn't look in the mirror. They didn't let me look in the mirror.
Oh, I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I,
I think that's a good thing because otherwise you would be maybe more scared. But wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my dad's like putting like just temporary stitches in my face. And then we go to the hospital, and yeah. So
So manifested the dimple.
I
Yeah.
manifested a dimple.
Okay, so you got out of the hospital. Your
Mhm.
dream as a Disney princess was, yeah, oh
Yeah,
no, not
that
a
was
Disney princess,
retired.
but a Disney actress
Disney actress. Yeah,
was
that
like,
was retired.
yeah. So what happened next?
Then I was like, all right, like I mean, it was kind of sad. I was like, I never thought I was like pretty, but I was like, felt like ugly because I had these scars on my face. So I was like, all right, well, I guess it's just time. What else do I have? I'll just get really smart. And I also, something was awakened in me when I was in that chair in that waiting room and saw the other kids that were dealing with things that were much more intense than what I was dealing with. And all of a sudden things were put in perspective. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna shoot for med school. And this was in eighth grade.
Mhm.
Like this was in middle school. And so you can only do so much for that. I mean, you can, but I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, but you have the
And
dream though. And
yeah,
it
yeah.
sounded like your purpose was like developing at that
It,
point.
I love the way you put that. That's definitely what it felt like. It felt like my purpose was starting to develop.
Yeah.
So go through high school. I'm like, that's the goal. Just get into a good school and then get into med school after. And that pretty much stayed solid throughout high school. Yeah, I was like, because before I like literally wanted to be like a rock star. I started a band when I was a kid and everything.
Uh, I can see that too, though,
Oh my gosh.
with
I
your
was like,
guitar.
I was such a nerd. And so then got into that all pretty much stayed in on track in high school. I got into the, s- the school I wanted and started on that like bio track for my major. And I got there and I had always like in high school, I was like an honor roll student. I was the head of these clubs and raised a lot of money for like Op Smile and the Children's Hospital. And I was like I played all these sports and was good at a couple of them, but we overall we were not great as a school. So it was like that sounds like it's not a brag to be good at a sport at the school I went to. Anyway, yeah, so I had this identity that was built on academics, achievement, sports, um, all these things. I get to college and it all like blew up with freshman year, like my first few semesters, I was failing my classes and my I was told by my advisor because I had added like chemistry late. So I started the class late. So I'd already missed like usually you have like 2 weeks of syllabus before you start and get into the material. Chemistry gets in on the first day. And I didn't realize that. And so I added the class late. I was already behind by like 2 weeks or something like that. And I was lost. I was failing. My advisor said, "You want to be a doctor? You can just ditch that dream. That's never gonna happen."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, she's like, if you're struggling in chemistry 101, you're never gonna be a doctor. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, okay, I feel like you shouldn't say something like that, but
No,
it
to
was hard to hear
yeah.
also.
Yeah.
This adult telling me this, and all of a sudden, I remember the day you sign up for clubs, it was like rained out, so I didn't really get in any clubs. And I was like, I'm failing my classes. I'm not a part of any clubs. Like, who am I? I don't know who I am anymore. Like, what am I doing? How am I going to be a doctor? And all of a sudden, this dream of mine was like kind of dying. And I ended up having a lot of trouble with like my health too. And I was just like super stressed all the time. And a really crazy situation happened that really threw me off. And all of a sudden, like I couldn't focus in my classes. I remember sitting through my one of my favorite classes the end of freshman year during that exam. It was just Psych 101. I love that class. The professor was amazing, like so entertaining, great class. I was eating all the material up. And that exam, I sat and I was just like coloring in
Mm.
bubbles. I wasn't reading any of it because I was so dissociated. And so obviously I failed that. And from like the what happened, the school actually forced me into therapy. They paired me with a therapist and they were like, "Do you need help like after that situation?" And I was like, "No." And I had to retell it so many times too. And I don't know if it's a time for like me to get into it, but I had to retell that so many times and to all of these people, like these adults, and I was just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like, I just want to get drunk, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was self-medicating. I was so just I couldn't sit with what was happening. And I was just like, I just don't want to think. I just want to get drunk and forget what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a crossroads that I saw when I was going through that. I was like, I could either go this route where I'm basically self-medicating or get like, all right, let's push on. And I went the other way. And that taught me that I don't want it. It's not, it's just, that's not who I am. It didn't feel right, but it taught me a lot. And and then I was just, it made me realize though how important just mental and psychological health is, because it it was a hard thing to move through. And at the time I still had this dream of being a doctor, so I was like, all right, well, let's try to lock in. So I did the rest of my undergrad. I took classes like all through the summer and each summer, and I tried to balance like social life and that and like this dream of mine, and they didn't really align. Um, and at the end, by the end of it, I was like, I'm over this and I need to make changes, and my dream and my purpose are way more important to me than like the life, like the habits and the life and what I'm doing now. And so I just like went into hermit I went into hermit mode big time, and I just needed to hear my own voice again, because I just felt like my thoughts were literally everyone else's. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't hear myself. But after I graduated and actually being separated by like just the whirlwind of undergrad for a second, especially through COVID and all of those things. I just, and everyone graduated and they were going their own paths. A lot of people were moving to big cities and going into physical therapy school or nursing school or medical school, and I was just comparing myself, and my thoughts were filled with everyone else's voices. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how can you live this way? And I knew I needed quiet. And I was just like, all right, I'm just going to take one step at a time, and I'm going to move back home, save money, because I'm not just going right into a job. I'm the plan was to do more school at the time. And so I was just like, I'm going to keep heading in this kind of medical direction and also check in on myself and what I want. And so I ended up looking for a doctor to intern with or something. And at the time, my mom was like, wait, I actually need you to work for me. And you can also shadow me. So I was like,
What did your mom do?
I'm sorry.
What did your mom do that you could work for her?
She's a primary care physician,
Hmm.
and she was kind of breaking off and doing her own thing, and she needed employees. And I was like, does that look good though on an application if it's you're working for someone with your own name? And she was like, but I need the help. And I was just like, okay, like I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'll work here. And it just ended up being the best experience ever. It taught me so much. Her patience taught me so much, just that human interaction and being able to talk with people who have experienced so much more life than me, because her demographic, it's like I'd say 30s and up all the way till the end. And so I got to talk to like amazing people and form relationships with them and hear about their life and just see the way what makes people light up, and also see the people like who is lit up and who's complaining all the time and just always upset, and what's the difference, like because obviously I want to be like the person who's really happy. And even when they're going through a heartbreaking experience. So that taught me a lot. And at the time, I was like, all right, so what are my options now? And I literally like wrote everything out. I brain dumped all the time. I was like, okay, my options, medical school, DO, uh, physical therapy, nursing, PA, and none of them really. I was just like, you feel it in your gut. And I put it on an Excel sheet, pluses and minuses, and I did all the things. But at the end of the day, it really was my gut, just like, what's working and what's aligning and what's not. And none of those things were aligning. I was like, what? I was like, I love medicine and I love science, and I also love creativity and just I don't know. It was none of those things were felt like a green light for me. But I was like, I think those are my only options. So like maybe let's just continue walking. And so I'm continuing walking. I was like taking all the prereqs for like what I would need to get into med schools and or similar to what you need to get into those other schools. And then working for her, it just showed me more that because I was able to see, oh, this is what happens when like lifestyle change is made and a habit is changed. And people who are coming in and they're just like sluggish or unhappy or they want to lose weight in a healthy way. And then she would have a plan of care. And a lot of times she's very holistic, which I'm so lucky to have her as my mom. Like she's so holistic and she's like, all right, what are our options before pharmaceuticals for making change that you want to see? And they would make those tweaks, like just exercise or a little tweak in diet or just cut out eating a pint of ice cream every night. Sometimes that was literally it. And replace it with something else that, you know, scratches that itch for you. And seeing the change in people and how they would come in, just a different person, just like lit up now, I was like, wow, that is resonating with me. And so, under the domains of lifestyle change, I really saw how much diet really does impact you and nutrition. And you literally are what you eat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
our bodies have the mechanisms. You take in food, you break it down, and we turn it into a building block or energy. And I was fascinated by that. So I ended up going on and getting my master's in nutrition, and I loved it. And then I wanted to be a registered dietitian. And then I got in to that school, and I something was up. And I was just like, why can't I? I said yes. And then what is this block? Why am I having a hesitation? And, as a coach, now we know, like, okay, how to ask ourselves the questions. But I was like, is it because I'm nervous or is it because I can't see myself doing that for the rest of my life? And first off, I have so much respect for all of these fields, but none of them were like the right fit for me.
Mm.
And so I was like looking at apartments, I was starting to get ready to move. And I emailed them. I was just like, I am so sorry. And I'm so thankful for the invitation, but I can't. And, and then somehow I came across like this mind body medicine program the next
Somehow,
day,
somehow,
somehow.
somehow.
And I was like, that's it. That's it. And I signed up, I applied, got my interview, didn't prep because I was just like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. How I prepped actually, I prayed right before the Zoom call. I was just like, I had my prayer book open, I was praying and got in.
Mm.
And then I also found coaching along the way. and they're very parallel. Like the tools we use when we were what we were learning with Ash and Jenna and all of those amazing coaches in QCA, it was very parallel to what I was learning in school. And even my mentor, I remember him saying, like, when I was like, I don't know what to do, like, I don't know what path to go. He's like, Ash, like, you need to be a coach or something. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay, Mark, like, whatever. But he was right. He was right. Like, and I didn't, because I was like so done with having other people tell me what I was just like, I really need to tune into what do I want and what can I see myself doing for the rest of my life. And that's where coaching came up too, because I was, I went inside and I would ask myself questions like, what would an ideal day look like for you? What would an ideal week look like for you? What is your purpose? What when you're on your deathbed, to get more of it, when you're on your deathbed one day, like, what do you want to look back and remember? And when you meet your creator one day, like, what, what's that going to be like? And coaching, it was
Mm.
always like interacting with people and talk. I have a binder right here that where it's like I came to that conclusion, which is actually so crazy. I scribbled it. Yeah. It's like, what do you want to do every day? Creative and community, something different every day, one-on-one coaching, like in
Mm.
this little note thing. So, I- and these are just scribbles from like probably it was when I was at work one day because it's on a sticky note that's from a rep that would come into our office. So, yeah, so sorry to talk so long, but
No,
that was
no,
the
but
journey
I
that
love
led to
that
it.
you tell the whole story because you can you could say like, yeah, I did this, and then I ended up coaching, but you have like a whole path like everybody has. And I also love that you said about that you were trying to do this way, you were trying to do
Mhm.
that way, you trying to do this, and it was like, no, it's not feeling, it's like, oh my God, no. And then you started to do like the nutrition stuff, and then, yeah, it was fun, but it's not that. And then you're like, no, I'm not gonna do it, and you had no idea what will happen, and then bum, like
Yeah.
mind, body, and the study and coaching. And so what did you get out of that for yourself, like for your internal growth? Like,
Oh man, it really was like, you know how I feel like we've had this conversation before when in just like trying to build your business or everything, like you have to, it's this constant like you do have to look in the mirror. And I was just constantly doing that and like trying to see, am I being honest with myself right now? And when is my ego talking? Because
hmm,
my ego, probably part of it did want to be an MD. And I was like, when is my ego in the conversation? And how can I zoom out, get some perspective? And honestly, like a lot of that came from, for me, God. I was like, sometimes I really truly feel like the more I tuned in with my faith and my spirituality too, the more I was able to hear my inner voice and to be guided because and gratitude too. Like it was really tuning in with my faith, gratitude, and also just trying to get some silence and so meditating and because I feel like we're these channels and obviously like if we have a little antenna on our head and it's all distorted and there's all this noise and all this input constantly getting put in, like our brains are computers and they're trying to make sense of that information, synthesize it, organize it. And all right, like how do we clear the channel? It's like, how do we get the signal clear so that we can just hear what's within and also something bigger than us? And so yeah, and also when I think about the universe or gratitude, it's I feel that when you do have gratitude for what you're given, even if it's low-hanging fruit, you probably will be given more sometimes because it's like if you're not gracious for the low-hanging fruit, why do you get the high-hanging fruit or whatever is
No, no, no,
opposite
no.
of that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
It's also where you focus on, of course. Like if you focus
Hmm.
on the great on the little things in life. And it's so funny that you say that. And for first of all, thank you for sharing all of that because that was so beautiful. But it's funny that you say that because literally today I had like the idea of like what we created as humans is just numbers and letters. And when you said about like the noise, it's literally other people's way of using those letters and numbers and that kind of stuff. But it's
Mm.
clear for you. And as long as you have like a meaning for those numbers or a meaning for those letters, like for example, look at a license plate. It's just
Hmm.
numbers and letters, right? But
Yeah.
if if it makes sense to someone or it has like a meaning, then it can be clear for you as like, oh, or for example, if it's like you have like 777 on the license plates, it's a whole nother story, you know? And that's literally how it is. It's like the noise of other people is just their way of using those numbers and letters and that kind of stuff in a way that doesn't work with your system. You know, like the computer, like you said, it's like a computer.
Yeah.
The computer is not matching up with the numbers and letters that are coming in, like the voices of other people, like what you said from that teacher that said like, "Oh, you want to be a doctor?" Like, you know,
Yeah.
like that's the noise.
Oh my, I love the way you describe things. I love the way you break things down. That is such a good way to put it. Like, especially the license plate. Like, yeah, and what do those numbers, letters, symbols mean to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I love the way that you put that.
Thank you. Okay, but moving on with your story. So now you did the education for the mind and body. You graduated the
Mhm.
coaching. What is next?
Well, I'm still in it. I have like gosh, it's a long road, but I think part of the reason I knew it was right is because I'm not counting it down. I'm like, I was doing it anyway in between. Like, even when I was in school, I was still reading mind, body things, mind, body, spirit, and living it. So I still have years ahead of me in terms of that. But I'm looking forward to it. There's so much to learn and there's always like cool things coming out. So that. And then in terms of coaching, um
Oh, look at your
in
face.
terms of coaching, I'm so excited to build this vision that I feel has just been like living in me and being synthesized in me and also planted. It almost feels like it was planted.
It shows you.
Yeah, like it was the seed that was planted, and then my life experience was almost like the water and s- the sunlight, and spirit was also the sunlight, and it was underground, like rooting for so long, almost like too long, and now it's like starting to sprout. So that would be this coaching practice, Dunes, that my vision, I'm so excited about it. It's literally it's my baby and I'm so like for you to be a part of that is just for you to be in it like to doing this together is I am so grateful for because I mean I'll go on a tangent all day long about you. You're just magic. in human form and such an amazing coach. And you've changed my life. And I'm just, that just feels like divinely orchestrated to me. And also the mission that I feel like both of us have, it's just so aligned. And how does that happen? Like how
Literally
does that happen?
fine with each other, like in a way,
Yeah.
like yeah, it's meant to be so it needed to be like this. It needed to be like of all of the people that we met and like yeah, it needed to be like this. I cannot say anything else about it. And I'm so grateful that it did and that I was open for it and you were open for it and that we are on this planet on the same time. Like
Oh, that blows my mind. I'm like, how does it happen that it's like we can be on this when you do zoom out like that on this planet at the same time and the miracle that it takes for our paths to align? Why? It must be because
yeah.
there's something
Yeah. And
more.
that
Yeah.
and I'm literally on the other side of the world right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most amazing but also insane thing about this is like I'm literally on the other side of the world and still we meet up like this and we became like close like this and yeah. So things don't happen just no. Things
No, it really feels like a miracle. So, yeah, like working with you on this and just helping to bring coaching because it's something that it's as I said to you, I was like, I feel like we're like the cowgirls of of this field and like lifestyle or mental health and um the tools that we have. A lot of the tools we have are rooted in mind, body, and also go way back in history. Like all of these tools we have history to them when it comes to the energetics and like Reiki and NLP and hypnosis. Like they have such a rich history
Mhm.
and we get to use them in coaching now. So it's like we have access to all of these mind body medicine tools that we were taught by really good teachers and shout out
Yeah.
QCA. And
Yeah, for sure.
so how can we band together and show up as a united front as coaches that like we're not just like coming off the street and like saying we're a coach. Like we did the work and we did the training and we put the hours in and the heart in and did the work on ourselves too. And how can we show up and kind of plug ourselves into that system of, hey, like if you're referring to if there's someone who comes in and they're like, I am anxious, like the main things that people come to, like a primary care, for example, when it comes to mental health or psychological health, it's like anxiety, depression, chronic fatigue, and also lifestyle changes and habits and self-talk. Like sometimes that can be a part of it. So just being a part of that system and this I almost like to think of it like PTs, like physical therapists, or you need both, like therapy and coaching can benefit a person together. So, because they're two different things, but
But they can also benefit each other
they can
like
benefit each
separately,
other.
like
Yeah.
it can be a perfect match for one person for
Hmm.
literally changing their lives. And
Hmm.
it's also possible that someone can go to a therapist, but someone can also go to a coach, uh,
Hmm.
because it's different kinds of like I want to say branches in the way
Yeah.
people how they have their lifestyle of like have their I think it can be both. So it can be really good together, but it can also be really good separate as well.
Absolutely. Like I know I would have benefited from a coach when I was like I feel like I kind of co ended up coaching myself through that, but it took a lot of work and it probably would have been a lot faster if I had someone there coaching me. And it's almost the way that I conceptualize coaching, like just a good metaphor for it. It's almost like when you like break your leg or like tear your ACL or something like that, and then you need to go to a doctor and get that type of conventional medical care. And then you go maybe go to a PT and like they'll help like give you exercises that you can do on your own to heal or get to your goal. So that's how I kind of like conceptualize it in a way. But I think, yeah, it's it's a great tool. And it can help so many people. And to, I feel like people just they don't really know what it is sometimes. So helping to show up and help just like teach people what it is and what it can do for them, how can it benefit them, and make the world a better place and bring all that light and love and happiness in. And yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's so beautiful how you said it. And also, what I want to go deeper in is that you said when we had our call, like you
Hmm.
said, when people go to a doctor, they normally get like or medicine or they go to a therapist. So, what's your idea about
Hmm.
that? Because that's something you're creating with Dunes.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. So, I mean, I haven't been through medical school, obviously. So, but from my understanding and my experience in just shadowing and learning about like when I was like really trying to go into medicine, is that when a patient comes in and they are showing up and they bring a, a psychological issue to the table, especially during those annual wellness visits, like the annual visit, primary care. And the doctor will usually refer or prescribe. So you either go, okay, it's the bio medical route, which is prescribing and changing the chemistry. And or it's you refer to a therapist. And I'm like, oh, there's this, what if we refer, like you also have an option here to maybe a coach could benefit this person, especially if it's something situational or it's like a life transition and they're facing those existential questions like, oh, what do I want to do with my life? Or like, why is this, where's this anxiety coming from? Is it like I'm just anxious all the time? Or is it like, well, this thing's going on? Or the depression, or what people may just label even as depression or sadness, or just these states that can really affect your quality of life. So is it like, where is that coming from? And obviously, like as coaches, we have to stay really true to our scope of practice, which is if it is clinical, then absolutely like, you need to be seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist and also keeping in touch with your primary care. But there's also an area where we can create a lot of change and help a lot of people. So helping bring us into that equation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so beautiful. And also the way you said it is like it's like really I don't want to say it's black and white, but it's actually black and white. It's like or medicine or like a therapist or psychiatrist. And this
Mhm.
makes it like mellow, like there's maybe another path in the middle where nobody ever thought about, but that's
Mhm.
because coaching is still new, I think.
Mhm.
And never saw it as that way. But yeah, I'm excited what it will bring. and
Yeah.
will help. So yeah, that's so so beautiful and so
Thank
amazing.
you. And you're exactly right. It is like it's preventative. It can be a preventative intervention
Hmm.
for people like before the spiral happens because we know what a spiral or ruminating thoughts can do, and we also have the tools that can help with that and create an upward spiral, if you will. But
Yeah.
it's definitely more of a whole person outlook, which is a lot of the framework in integrative medicine. It's a whole body, whole person outlook, and they discuss and include mind, body, and spirit in the conversation, which kind of got separated in some ways when it comes to Eastern and Western medicine or conventional and alternative or complementary medicine or traditional medicine. And now we have this thing that is integrative medicine, which is so important because it's combining
Hmm.
all of those things. So it's beautiful and it's harmonious and it's so needed. And that's
Yes.
where we come in.
Yeah. That's when we come in. Nice. Wow. Thank you so much for this. And what I want to ask as a last question before we wrap up is that, you know, I'm all about self-leadership, and that's my brand actually. So how do
Mhm.
you feel how you took leadership in your own life after everything that happened? You already said it, like you were really talking to God and really
Mhm.
making yourself quiet so you could listen to the voice. But
Mhm.
how do you take it now for in day by day practices or like, yeah.
Wow. Well, I love your brand, first of all. Like that is so important, I think, self-leadership, because it's so easy to fall into this just follower position. And not that it's like not shaming that at all, but just the when I say that, I think more listening to your own voice. And you're and also guided, like whatever that means to you. But I think that it means a little, like not necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Not abandoning myself anymore. Like realizing that, oh, like if I don't want to do this, like I don't have to do this. And okay, what do I want to do? What would feel good? And also what's in terms of ecology, like maybe forcing myself to do this thing or like walking this path or like, XYZ, whatever circumstance is in front of me. Like what choice is me not abandoning myself in it? So I think I've been asking myself that question more,
Mm.
and like, oh, like it's actually like it's okay to to say no and to choose you, because they always use that metaphor, like you have to put your own mask on before the other person in an airplane. So
Yeah. And it sounds so
it's the
harsh, but
reason.
it's actually true. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it is.
if you don't have your own mask, you cannot save the other person.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I just remember I grew up to be really selfless and like give, give, give. And I think a lot of women face that. But it is just like it's harder to take care of the people that you really love, and it's harder to show up for whether it's, you know, a loved one or a family member or even someone that could potentially be someone in your life, like, or someone or a client, like someone that kind of, divinely orchestrated interaction, or just the person you smile at
Hmm.
on the street. Like you never know what that does. And yeah, so really I think what that means to me is just asking myself that question, like, am I blah, blah, blah. Am I abandoning myself here? And what do I really want? And that can be okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And also asking the big guy. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like I'm in constant prayer, honestly, personally. That's my what I do.
Yeah.
I always ask, oh God, guide me. Like when I am faced with something where I don't know what the next step is, or I go to you and I'm like, all right, Lori, I need a coaching session. I need to tune in. Like I really
And the funny thing is, you always come with something you're like, I want to work on this, and we go on like,
a
ooh.
journey. It's
Yeah, yeah.
always a journey. It's so cool. I love sessions with you.
Thank you. I love sessions with you too. So amazing. Okay, last thing you want to say.
Last thing I want to say.
Yeah, before we
Anything?
close up. Anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Ah, light up your life. Life is so precious. Life is a miracle. It's a miracle to be here now on this earth, like, and to be here at the same time as other people, just like we were talking about, like to be on this planet at the same time as you and to be who you are as an individual and your innate gifts that you were born with. And gifts can literally be empathy. Like having empathy, that's a gift and it's a superpower. And just it's such a miracle. So wherever you are and whoever you are, like if you're feeling a little lost right now, that's okay. And also just remember who the fuck you are. Like remember who you are. It's a miracle for you to be here in this body as you. No one else is like you. No one else can replicate. Like no matter how hard, we try, like you can try to replicate being another human, you can't. And what just evaluating too, like, oh, like you have gifts that you're born with that can be amplified and nurtured. And it doesn't necessarily mean the gift of like, oh, being like a perfect like artist or like playing piano perfectly. It's the ability to hold like presence and have empathy and like having gratitude. Like those are powers. Presence is a power, intuition is a power. Those are gifts. And also the things that we go through in life, even when in the time they seem like really sucky, like what's it teaching you? Because when you come out of that fire, another person's probably going to need the map.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. And I love you.
Love you and thank you. That was so, so beautiful. And it was such a beautiful like ending to this call. And like this whole call, it's like it was magical. So thank you.
It's always freaking magical with you, Lori. I'm so honored to be here and I love you so much. Like I have so much gratitude for just being able to like know you and work with you and you as my coach and just
Yeah, same girl, same. I'm so, so, so beyond grateful that you, like I said before, came in my life, but also the way it did, like everything is so divinely orchestrated with everything that is happening with us. And I'm so grateful for it. And I love you so freaking much. And I thank you so much for doing this and being here and being you. And yeah, thank you.
thank you. Oh, love you so much, girl.